What do you say? Should we finish section 2 today? We got this. Cristin Tom here, and we are continuing with our Jingle All the Way quilt. So we have all of section 1 complete, and today we're going to finish section 2. So we already have all the parts for section 2. Everybody's doing such a great job keeping up. We have the Lemoyne stars, we have the extra Jingle All the Way block, the extra 9-patch block, we have our 5 peppermint blocks. There was a bunch of these, and you guys did so great. I love seeing them. There's more. They're in there. And then we have our candy cane blocks. That was our latest tutorial. So we are now ready to finish up section 2, and it's going to be really easy to do. There are 3 border blocks for section 2, so you can put them all in one hooping if you have a hoop capacity that will allow for that, or you can do them individually, whatever works for you. I did already take a look, and it can be done in a 7x12 hoop. It can be done in an 8x12 hoop. It could be done in an 8x8 hoop, but you'd have to take out those steps 3 and 4 of the quilting design. I go in full detail of how to do this on smaller hoops. There's several actually tutorials if you go to Cristin Creates and look on that search bar. In fact, there's even a playlist that has all the 5x7 tutorials. So 5x7, 6x10, 8x8, 8x12, all of those, it discusses how to make it work. So nothing will hold you back. All right, so grab your packet if you made packets. I have a packet just for section 2 blocks. We have 3 border blocks. It will be easy, I promise. So let's go ahead and jump right in and start on with what we need for today. So our border block number 3 is this green, I think it's called something about dew. I don't remember. But anyway, this is the fabric that we want, and there was not a substitution from our sponsor, so you should have received this, or whether you ordered it from long ago or recently. I did back mine with fusible stabilizer. That's up to you on these. They are going to be quilted. So our first one, I recommended in the prep video before we started this, I recommended cutting your border blocks a little bit bigger, and then we'll cut them down at the end, but it will work either way, whether you cut it down or whether you made it a little bit bigger or whether you did not. So my recommendation, this is going to be, I think it was 2.5 by 8.5. So my recommendation is 3x9. All right, so either way, 2.5 by 8.5 or 3x9. My recommendation is a little bit bigger because then it will catch, it will do that tack down stitch, and that is helpful, and then we can use that as our trimming guide if we stabilized it. All right, so if you don't stabilize, just make sure to measure it to make sure that you're getting that full 2.5 by 8.5 before you trim it down. All right, so 3x9 is my recommendation, but 2.5 by 8.5 will work. And same thing on the batting, 3x9 for your batting. All right, 3x9 for your batting. That's the first one. Now, one thing I want to mention is I'm going to add to this. It's not too busy of a fabric, so I think that this would be a good one to add to. It is going to go vertically in our quilt, so keep that in mind. So you want something that will be vertical, and I'll give you some suggestions and show you what I have in mind. All right, 3x9, that's for border block number 3. Border block number 4 is this red holly leaf fabric. All right. And again, same thing, 2.5 by 8.5 or 3x9 if you have enough fabric, and if it'll work out, 3x9 is my recommendation. I think it makes it just a little bit easier, but whatever will work. All right, so I did back mine with fusible stabilizer. That's up to you. And then for your batting, same thing, 3x9 for your batting. All right, you want 3x9 for your batting. That's for border block number 4. Okay. And then I almost forgot to mention, sorry, there is a substitute for this one. So if you bought from long ago, you would have this holly leaves. If you bought from our sponsor just recently, then you would have this tufted fabric. All right, and either one of these will work great. And this is less busy of a fabric if you wanted to do something with that one. This one's too busy in my opinion, but whatever works for you. Either one, okay? 3x9 or 2.5 by 8.5. Okay, and then the last one for border block number 5, it is the red houndstooth fabric. All right, the red houndstooth. And I didn't see a substitute, so she must have had some, even though this is been retired for a while, but she must have had some for us. So on this one, 2.5 by 6.5 or 3 by 7. My recommendation is a little bit bigger, 1/2 inch. So 3 by 7 if you have enough fabric, and if not, the 2.5 by 6.5 will work. I did back mine with fusible stabilizer. Again, that is up to you, but it will help if you did make it a little bit bigger. And we're going to use that cutting guide. It's not really a cutting guide, it's our basting stitch, but I'm going to use it as a cutting guide because I know that my fabric won't pull in too much. So what happens is when we're stitching, our fabric pulls in just a little bit. That's why you want to always make sure to measure it and make sure you're getting the actual size. So 2.5 by 6.5 on this one. And then for your batting, 3 by 7. And just a reminder, 3 by 7 if you can, if you've got enough, 3 by 7 on your fabric and your batting. Okay, 3 by 7. All right, and that's it. That's all we have today. 3 border blocks that we can fit in one hooping if it works for you. If it doesn't, more hoopings, that's not a problem. These are going to be really easy blocks. We are going to quilt them. So I forgot to mention that. Sorry. So on the quilting, let's go back to each one of these. Sorry. So the first one, I have, let's see, I have quilting lines 3. So lines 3, because it's not too busy, and then I can add to it. So lines 3 in a 2 by 8. So any quilting design that you want in a 2 by 8 will work just fine. So I'm going to do lines 3 in a vertical design. So my lines are going to go this way. All right. So again, any quilting design that you want in a 2 by 8. And that's for border block number 3. For border block number 4, do you hear Archer sighing? He's frustrated that I didn't remember to tell you the quilting. So on border block number 4, I'm going to use, let's see, Christmas 5. So that's the one that is the Jingle. That's what I'm going to use for this one because this is a busy fabric. So that will look nice. So Christmas 5 in, again, a 2 by 8 quilting design. Whatever quilting design that you choose, you want it to be a 2 by 8 for this border block number 4. And I'm going to use Christmas 5. That's the Jingle one with the jingle words. All right. And then that last one is the 2 by 6. We want a 2 by 6 quilting design on this one. And I am using, let's see, where are we? I'm going to use Winter 1. So this is the one with the snowflakes. I'm using a 2 by 6 in horizontal. It's got the snowflakes. It's a really cute, if you haven't seen that quilting design, it like has lines and then snowflakes. I believe that's the one if I recall correctly. But when we bring you over to the computer, I'll show you all of it. But whatever quilting design you want in a 2 by 6, I'm going to use the 2 by 6 in horizontal, the snowflakes, Winter 1. All right, Winter 1. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to bring you over to the computer. I'm going to show you how to merge them together to get less steps involved and also add a little something if you choose. So for those of you that have made a donation to the Cristin Creates tutorials, I'm going to go ahead and just send you the file that I'm talking about, and it's just the wording, it's just the little word file that I have. Nothing, I'm not sending you the quilting, I'm not sending you anything else, but I will send you that one word that I'm going to add to it. So everyone that has made a donation, that has given me your email address, actually so far everybody for Jingle has, thank you for that. So I'm going to go ahead and send that to you. So look out for your email, check your spam if you don't see it. I'm going to send that to you. So let's go ahead and go over to the computer so you can see how to merge them together and that little something. All right, I am at my computer now. I'm going to quickly show you how to merge these 3 border blocks together and add a little something if you choose. So I'm going to open up Embellishment Essentials. That is the embroidery software that I use and highly recommend. And a lot of people are enjoying learning this software. So join us if you haven't yet. So, and if you do, please use my affiliate link when you purchase from Embellishment Essentials. The link is underneath this video. I'll also add a link up above here to be able to purchase. And Essentials is the one that I show, Embellishment Essentials. All right, so the first thing is you check down here at the bottom and it'll show you what hoop size you're on. I am on my 7 by 12 hoop. That is the hoop I want to show. But if you're not on the hoop that you want, come up here to this preferences folder, click on that, click on the hoop size that you want and say okay, and then come up to this compass button here, click on that and click on H for hoop so it'll zoom into the hoop. All right, so we're going to start by bringing in our first quilting design for border block number 3. So that one is going to be, the one that I'm going to use is lines 3 in a vertical. So I'm going to start by bringing in the quilting design. So I'm going to go up here to this merge stitch file button, click on that, or you can open the folder. If you have the folder handy, you can do it that way and just drag it over. I've shown both ways in my videos, so whatever works for you. So let's see here. I am going to look for the lines 3 right there. It's in the Jingle All the Way quilting bundle. And I'm going to open up embroidery files, and then Pez is what I use for my machine. And I want to navigate to the 2x8 quilting design. So I'm just scrolling down, and there it is right there. 2x8 lines 3 in vertical or in horizontal. And let's see, I think I said I was going to do vertical. So vertical is this way. I think I want this way, the horizontal lines. Let's think about this for a moment. Yep, I'm going to do horizontal instead. So, all right, so I'm going to go with this lines 3 horizontal, double click on that. It will go to the center, and then you need to click on the stitching to be able to move it to where you want. I'm just going to move it up here to the upper left-hand corner. And then I want to change these colors so that I can have them grouped together. So if we did the blues and oranges right now as is, then it's going to group those together when we do our color sort, and it will defeat the purpose of laying down our batting and then later laying down our main fabric, because those will join together. So I want to make sure to change those. So I'm going to click outside so that nothing is selected, and then click on 1-1. And I'm going to click down here in the properties window and click on the color. And then I'm just going to choose the first color that comes up for me, which is dark aqua, and I'm going to say okay. And then 1-2, click down here in the properties window on the color, and I'm going to choose the first color that comes up for me, which is blaze. Say okay. You can see I'm on Fil-Tec Glide as my preferred thread color. That's why these colors come up for me. But it doesn't matter what color you choose. I'm just choosing the first one that comes up. All right, 1-3, and then click on the color, and I'm going to choose the next color down, which for me is marine. Say okay. 1-4, click on the color, and I'm going to choose the second color, which is Oriole, and say okay. And then 1-5. Now, one of these blocks is green, one is red, and then one is red and white. So depending on the colors that you want for your quilting, like on this first one, I'm pretty sure I'm going to use a green that will match the fabric so that it kind of blends in. I don't want anything that's going to stand out too much because I'm going to add to this one. So I'm going to make this green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a different color so that I can choose later when I get there. So I'm going to change the color on each of these so that it'll create a stop so that I can choose the thread color when I get there. So 1-5, click on the color. My dog is snoring in the background if you can hear her. So 1-5, and then click on the color, and I'm going to choose the first color that comes up for me, which is Sprout, and say okay. So that one is all done. I'm going to click outside so nothing is selected. When you click outside, it can be anywhere in this workspace or in this objects window. It doesn't matter. You're just clicking outside so that nothing is selected. All right, and then we need to bring in the next one. So I'm going to go to File, Merge Stitch File. And the second one that I'm using is Christmas 5. So I'm going to close up this lines 3. And I'm going to go to Christmas 5. That's also in the Jingle All the Way bundle. And then embroidery files, block by block, Pez. And I want a 2x8. So I'm just going to scroll down. There it is right there, 2x8. Double click on that. It goes to the center. I'm going to click on it. You have to make sure to click on the stitching, otherwise it won't work. Click on somewhere on the stitching and then just drag it up to this upper right-hand corner is what I'm going to do. All right, and then again, I want to change these colors so that some will join and some will not. So I'm going to click outside so nothing is selected, click on this first one, and I want to use these same colors except for this last one, which is the quilting design. So I'm going to click on 2-1, click on the color, and I want dark aqua, and say okay, just like what's up here. 2-2, click on the color, and I know I want blaze because that's what's right here on the first one. And then 2-3, click on the color, and I want the second color down, which is marine. You can see it right up here, what we used before if you forget the colors. And then on 2-4, click on the color. I want the same as 1-4, so I want Oriole. All right, and then 2, 5, click on the color, and I don't want sprout because I'm going to use green for that first one, so I want to stop. If I did sprout, then it's just going to run through all of them, and I want it to stop so that I have time to change my thread color. So I'm going to use the second color down, which is sea green, and say okay. All right, click outside so nothing is selected, and those two are done. We have one more to bring in, so I'm going to go to Merge Stitch File, and I'm going to close up that Christmas 5, and this last one, I am doing Winter 1. So Winter 1 right there, Embroidery Files, it is part of the Jingle All the Way quilt. Pez is what I use for my machine, and I want a 2x6 design. Now this comes in vertical and horizontal. I think I said horizontal, so let's just see. 2x6, there's the vertical and there's the horizontal. So really either one of these look really cute. I don't know. So I did say horizontal, and horizontal gives you 4 snowflakes and vertical just gives you 3. I think I'm going to go with horizontal. So 2x6, Winter 1, horizontal. So so the lines, that's one thing to keep in mind though. So the lines that are in between the snowflakes, so it's kind of more natural to have them going down, you know, like a snowflake, the lines with it. So you could choose this vertical one. I think I'm going to, because by the way, so this block is going to be vertical. It's going to be this way in our design. So you could choose to have your lines going down. You might choose this one. I don't know. Kind of thinking, I think I'll do the down. I like that this one has 4 snowflakes, but the fact that the lines are going that way and the block is going this way, I'm going to go with this one. Either one, whatever you want, any 2x6 quilting design. I'm going to choose 2x6 in a vertical. I did say horizontal, so I'll have to change that and edit it earlier in the video, but I'm going to choose this Winter 1 in a vertical. All right. So double click on that, it'll go to the center, and then I'm going to click on this and I'm going to rotate it right here. It doesn't matter, either left or right will work fine. I'm going to go ahead and rotate it to the left with this little blue arrow here, and then click outside so that nothing is selected, and then click back on that block. When you rotate it, you can't move it right then unless you use your mouse key. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to use my down arrow key. Make sure that you're on your block when you move it. All right, so I've got that. I'm going to go ahead and bring it down to the bottom so that I've got a little bit of space for that extra fabric. Looks like I can bring it down one more, maybe, hopefully. So you want to just make sure that nothing is over the hoop lines. This yellow line here is our designated hoop, so you want to not go over that. All right, and then same as before, I want to go ahead. So now it looks like our line is this way, but keep in mind that the block is going to go vertically. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on 3-1, and I'm going to just choose those same colors as before. I'm going to click on 3-1 and then click on the color. I want dark aqua. And then 3-2, click on the color. I want blaze. Say okay. 3-3, click on the color, and I want the second color down, which for me is marine. And then 3-4, click on the color. I want Oriole. Remember, you're just using the colors from that you used before. And then 3-5. Now, one is the second one is red, and this one is red and white. But I'm gonna just give myself that stop so that I can decide when I get there. I may use red on border block number 4, and I might use white on, or even silver on border block 5 for those snowflakes. So I'm going to click on 3-5, and then in the properties window, click on that color, and I'm going to choose the third color down. Make sure it's a color that you haven't used before so it won't join together, so that you get that stop. And I'm going to say okay. All right, so those are done. All right, and we could do a color sort and be done with it, or you can add to it if you choose. So I'm going to show you here what I was thinking. I looked at it earlier. See this Mary word? I thought that was really cute. So that's fun. And that's just a very small little add-on, a little small personalization. So I'm going to do that. You can do whatever works for you or leave it as is, but I'm going to show you how in case you decide to do that as well. All right, so we're going to go up here to this letter. I got to try and remember what font I ended up using. I don't recall off the top of my head now. So when you click on that, it'll bring up Embellishment Essentials. When you purchase Embellishment Essentials, you receive, I don't remember how many, like 3 to 5 fonts for free that come with the program. So it's called a native font when it comes with the program. So this is one of them. It is the block style font. And the nice thing about the native fonts is that you can adjust them pretty fully. Like it's set up in a way that you can do whatever you want to it pretty much. So I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to show you how to use another one, but you could certainly use that. Absolutely. That would look really nice. So to start with, so this is a one straight line. I want to have multiple lines so that, because I want to do a word that is going to go vertically. So I'm going to click on this button here, the multi-line text. Click on that. And then I'm going to highlight that ABC, and I'm going to click M, and then return E, whatever you want it to say. I'm going to do Mary, and then you're hitting a return after each one so that you get a separate line. All right, and then click set, and see it made that Mary. That looks really good. I like that. I'm going to bring it over here. You do not have to have it set up just right, because I'm going to show you how to align it. But the other thing is, like I said, you can use this font and you can adjust it. You can do whatever you want to make it the size that you want, or you can bring in a font that you have purchased. So I'm going to click on here, and I can see all of my fonts this way. So I really like that. I don't remember which one I ended up deciding on. I tried a few. Might have been, oh, I do remember. It was Marcia. So the one I ended up using was Marcia Script from Designs by Juju. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to try this 1-inch size and see it changed it. That looks really good. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, or I can try the 1.5 inch and see 1/2 inch. Let's see if that 1/2 inch. That didn't seem to change the size at all, did it? Let's see. Marcia Script 1 inch. 1/4 inch, 3/4 inch. Let's try the 1 1/4. That's weird. So I think because I changed the size earlier, maybe that's why it's not doing it. But let's try a bigger one, and we'll just have it jump. Or was there a bigger? Let's see. Marcia Script. We'll do a 2-inch. Okay, there we go. So that made it a lot bigger. Much too big, obviously. So now I can go ahead and choose the size that I want. I'm going to try 1/2 inch. Yeah, that's still too big. I'm going to do a 1 inch, and then I'm just going to resize it. So the nice thing about Embellishment Essentials is that it will adjust it until it can't anymore. Like once it's going to start distorting that font, it will stop and it won't let you do anymore. So that's really nice. So I'm going to just move it to where I think it should go, making sure to stay within this orange line here that you can't see too well here. Let's see if I click outside. So this orange line, that is the placement and tack down of our batting, and I want my wording to fit within that for sure. I don't want it to go over, because then this is our 1/4 inch seam allowance. So if you go over that, then your letters are going to be in your seam allowance. So I definitely want to keep it within that batting. All right, so the batting's underneath, that's not going to matter, but I'm just giving you an idea of what sizing. All right, so that looks really good. I really like this font. I think that's really fun. This is Marcia Script from Designs by Juju, and you can use whatever font that you have to create a word. If you choose, you don't even have to create a word. So I like this. This looks really good. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep that size. So all I did was I made it a little bit bigger. To do that, you just click any of these, the corners. When you click on a corner, then you can readjust it. And here I'll show you. So see what I was saying about it will get bigger, and then it will just stop. It's like, nope, I can't make it any bigger. I'm going to click the undo button because I liked the size that I had, but I wanted to show you that it will stretch it pretty well, and then with Embellishment Essentials, it'll stop when it can't do any more, when it's going to distort the font. All right, so that looks really good. So let's see here. I am going to go ahead and do my align and distribute now. You have to do it before you do a color sort. Once you do a color sort, everything is set and you can't make any changes after that unless you went back to your previous. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do I'm going to click on this first one. That's the quilting design, that first quilting design. And then I'm going to click the control button on my keyboard with my finger. Hold that down while I click on number 4. That's the wording. All right, so 1 and 4 will be selected. And I'm going to go to Utility, Align and Distribute. And then I'm going to click Center, Center, and then just watch the words move. All right, we'll see how close we had it. All right, and it moved up and over to the right just a tiny bit. All right, so now we know that it is lined up just right within that quilting design. So that looks perfect. I'm very happy with that. All right, so now we need to do our color sort. I clicked outside so nothing is selected. Right now we have 16 color steps, and we can definitely get that down. Remember that I have a stop for each of the quilting designs so that I can change my thread color. So if you didn't have that, like if you used like a light gray or a white on all of them, then you would have even less steps, but I want those steps. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to go to Utility Color Sort. Don't forget, you have to do that after you do your Align and Distribute. Once you get your Mary all done, you want to make sure that you do your color sort after that. All right, and the other thing, so now it says it's reduced it by 8 color steps, so we got half as many. So I'm going to check it and make sure it got exactly what I thought it should do. But in the meantime, don't forget, you want to have these same settings as I have when you do your color sort to get the same results that I have, especially this tolerance 0. So I'm going to click New View. You can see that I'm on Untitled 2 tab now. It will create another tab. And so New View so that I can check it. That's really important. And all of those designs now, it was our 3 quilting designs and the 1 Mary design are now all together in one design. So I'm going to open that up to check it. All right, there is our placement of our batting, our tack down of our batting. This, you can see that they're all grouped together, so that's perfect. And then our placement of our main fabric and our tack down of our main fabric or the basting stitch. And then quilting design 1, quilting design 2, quilting design 3, and then our Mary word. So that is perfect. That's great. 8 color steps. You can see it down here in the right hand corner. That was really easy to do. So don't forget, you can add this word Mary. You can do whatever word that you like. You can leave it as is. If you've already made a donation to the Cristin Creates channel, this is my small little thank you. I'm going to send you that Mary word. All right, it'll look like this. You'll have just the Mary word, and so that you can add that in. And I kept in this box so that you can just line it up in your design. So easy to do, simple, fun. This is great. I'm going to do a file, save, stitch file as, and I'm going to go to, let's see, my embroidery files. Pez is what I use. And I'm going to say section 2 border blocks. Save. All right, and that's all ready. I don't have my machine on. Once I turn it on, I can send it to my machine. If you don't have a machine that does that, that is Wi-Fi ready, then you would just save it to a USB stick. If you don't know how to do that, I have a tutorial just on how to do that. Super easy to do. All right, let's get stitching. my shirt today. This is an old one, but actually one of my favorites. I love it. It is so cute, right? The bicycle and a birthday shirt. It says it's all about the journey. I added the wording on, and it's so true, right? It's all about the journey. So the shirt design is from, the embroidery design is from Embroidery Library. The shirt is a really old one from Target, forever old, but I do have a bunch of shirts in my Amazon storefront that you can choose from, shirts and sweaters to embroider on. So I'll add the information about the design underneath this video. And how are you doing with your goal? I love hearing about your goals. So many people are keeping up. That's a big goal. This one is a lot of people, their goal is to keep up with the project, and everybody's doing such a great job with that and sharing photos in the group. So my goal is two things. One is to work on projects in between, and the other is to exercise, lots of exercise, and working on this challenge with the group, with the gym. So there's this 8-week challenge, and you have to lose body fat, and so far I'm totally not succeeding in this challenge. Unfortunately, I'm doing all the things, but my body is just not working with me on it. That cancer blocker pill, it's one of the side effects that your body doesn't react well when you're trying to do the things that you want to do as far as exercise and health. But I'm doing all the things, so that's important. As far as working on other projects, I didn't do any of that this weekend. We ended up going out of town very, very last minute. We went to a conference in Spokane, Washington, and so that was completely different. So no embroidery, no exercise even. I got like 7 to 9,000 steps every single day, but most of the time we were sitting in chairs listening to this conference. So it was super interesting. We really enjoyed it, had a great time, but I'm excited to be back to my normal schedule, getting my work done and getting my exercise, and working on our quilt. So I'll be much better at it going forward, but this past weekend, totally different priorities. So anyway, how are you doing with your goal? I'd love to hear about it.